over the weekend exposed a $22 million program in the Pentagon's budget. It's dedicated to searching for unidentified flying objects and investigating reported sightings of those. Brett Larson hosts Fox News Headlines on Sirius XM Channel 115, and he joins us tonight. So, Brett, this is kind of the Pentagon has been hidden from public view, searching for UFOs. What started this program?
Actually, it seems to be Harry Reid started it back when he was the majority leader in the Senate. He threw a couple $1 million towards the project, about $22 million. Not a big chunk of the defense budget. A little enough that it didn't go noticed until just recently. Now, they said they stopped it in 2012, but in that short amount of time, one of the things that we definitely saw this, the video that I believe is playing right there on the upper right corner of these two fighter pilots who see this unusual phenomenon that's flying around in front of them. And when you listen to these guys, you initially hear them say there's a whole bunch of them. And if you watch that little object in the middle of the screen, I mean, I'm an airplane enthusiast. That doesn't look like anything that I've ever seen before, unless there's some new kind of drone that can fly at 20,000 feet. But what's so cool about this, at least from my perspective, is that they are actually talking to military personnel, to pilots, to people who, through the years, historically, have had these unusual things happen to them, and they're taking down their information and following up on it. It's very similar to the Project Blue Book that the FBI did and stopped back in the late 60s.
Well, it sounds like two things. There are an awful lot of pilots, military pilots and commercial pilots, who've seen objects that appear to defy physics. And second, these sightings appear to be clustered around nuclear sites, either nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, submarines, or nuclear power reactors. Why is that?
Conspiracy theorists will tell you that the aliens are very interested in our nuclear capabilities. That may or may not be the case. I'm not going to dismiss anything that the conspiracy theorists people like to believe in or follow up on. It could also be, and this is another reason why they kept this division going, it could also be our enemies, and it could be technology that maybe they have, and that's something that they want to keep an eye on. They want to keep an eye on our nuclear-capable submarines. They want to keep an eye on our nuclear power plants. They're certainly of interest to a lot of groups of people.
Of course.
That's another reason why I think having something like this is important, because when we say an unidentified flying object, that doesn't necessarily mean that ET is coming or Alpha is going to walk off the ship or we're about to have our close encounter finally. It could very well be foreign technology. It could be the Russians. It could be the Chinese. They may have figured out some way of making a better stealth device than we have, though I strongly believe we have some of the best military equipment in the world. So it's interesting that it's this sort of split where it's, we want to keep an eye on these unusual phenomena. We want to follow up on this stuff and see what it actually is. But at the same time, if what we're seeing is technology that someone on planet Earth has, we need to know about that. We need to keep an eye on that. We need to make sure that we're not being outpaced with our own technology.
Yeah. I don't really see a non-terrifying explanation for any of this, I have to say.
The only terrifying explanation would be if they're literally hiding something from us. If we have been visited by some terrifying creature that's being nice until they get our water.
They're definitely hiding something from us. We know that. Brett, thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me, Tucker.
Good to see you.